Previously on Power Reviews.
The fluctuation in the cross-dimensional continuum.
What did you just do to this ship?
Going into the rift.
So the time storm plus the void brought our memories to life?
The landlord.
K-Alpha.
Get her to the ship and keep her safe.
Hold on!
Goodbye.
No,
Dark Specter.
he copied me. Every jump was just another poke through the fabric of reality.
Jungle Karma Pizza.
Sumerian forest.
My child, she's quite resourceful.
Time to play.
It's Darkonda.
The directors.
The party ends now, Darkonda!
My agents were inside of that thing. My daughter!
I will take you to Master.
How could you not tell me that this ship could turn into a Megazord?
Look out!
That voice.
Zordon? You don't know the name Gosei. The legendary battle is all part of the plan. We need to warn the other Rangers. What's the progress on the communications relay?
He's coming.
He's already.
And now, Database Rangers Power Review.
Greetings, Ranger. What? No welcome? Here we are, then. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide.
Database, you have to get out of there. We have no way to find...
Nothing left to do but... You know what? You're right. I've been rude. I do owe you a welcome. Where are my manners? You know, I've always had trouble reaching out to people, making friends. Sometimes it feels like I'm invisible. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. And that was true even before you locked me away in an existential prison and rewrote my memories, which, I'm not gonna lie, I'm still not super happy about. But that's still no excuse not to be a proper host. So, Dark Specter, former high mucky muck of all evil, former lava demon, all that business, and Darkonda, that is you, right? I see that you've done something new with your whole, look thing, which I know is all kind of a blur right now, but I can see that you're going for it, and you've clearly got a lot of inner conflict going on there. But still, it just blows me away to see you again after all these years. Both of you. And I know that you're not exactly Ranger fans, but I just want to say, from the bottom of my heart, greetings and welcome to Power Reviews.
I don't think so.
You know, I've reviewed a lot of Power Rangers episodes in my day. And honestly, a lot of them haven't been great. I mean, come on. 19 episodes of Samurai and Super Samurai, 41 Megaforce / Super Megaforce reviews? I must be some sort of glutton for punishment. That seems like an understatement. But I still love it, you know? There's always something to love. The action, the adventure, the well-intentioned lessons, and so many crazy concepts and characters. Plus the mind just reels over the production of bringing it all together.
I'll make your mind reel.
And I felt that way since before I even found out I was a ranger. The Phantom Ranger of all things. Can you believe it? I mean, of course you can. You guys knew me back in the day.
You're right, Kay. Reaching out to people, crazy characters, bringing things together.
He's trying to buy time for us to finish the communications relay. We can't let him down. Understood?
Righto!
But I realized, after all this time, I've never once talked about what my favorite episode is. The one that my mind always comes back to. The one that changed my understanding of the series. The one that made me realize the heights that this franchise is capable of. So you know what? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the two-part finale of my favorite season of all time. Starting with episode 42 of Power Rangers in Space.
Is he really doing this?
He's really doing this.
Please don't do this.
Countdown to Destruction, Part 1. The episode kicks off with you looking decidedly less handsome than you do now, chilling out with Astronema by your random swirly cloud cliff, and commanding her to summon all your evil forces together for one big final push to conquer the universe.
When we're finished, there will be no good left in the universe. Only chaos, anger, greed. Go now and spread the wrath of Dark Specter!
But you know the whole spiel, I'm sure. Actually, my memory's a bit fuzzy. Perhaps I could help you with the reenactment. Okay, that's fair. I probably had that one coming. Darkly, take it. Astronema unleashes her Quantrons and Velocifighters, and soon all of the old baddies are back in action. Starting with the Machine Empire's Royal House of Gadgetry, as Mondo, Machina, Sprocket, and Clank dust off their rusty old cogs and quadrifighters. Divatox and Rygog lead the charge against the alien rangers of Aquitar with her army of Piranhatron, and back at Astronema's Dark Fortress, the original Mighty Morphin Menaces themselves, Rita Repulsa and Lord Zed, are calling in on her view screen.
This is not looking good. There's gotta be a way to get DB some backup.
The plasmatic masses of the void are still generating too much dimensional interference.
We need a stronger signal.
Even if we quintupled our power output, these currents are still generating too many random frequency shifts.
It's like trying to broadcast in a thunderstorm. If only we could clear the clouds.
Or, that's it! Mayo, get to the bridge. I think we have a new plan of action.
Rita and Zed insist that they have a plan of their own, refusing to simply go along with Astronema's strategy.
Who, may I ask, put you in charge? Dark Specter himself.
My name always did carry quite a bit of weight.
Oh yeah? I can think of one that carries more. Because as soon as Rita and Zed fall in line, Astronema barks out a few more orders and marches over to her latest piece of decor, the original blue man who inspired the group, Zordon himself. And we both know just how important he is, since his capture is what kicked off the events of the season, and it took you the better part of a year to drain what still looks to be only half his energy. Must be why you invoked his name on the Megaforce Rangers instead of your own. What? Don't like people sneaking up behind you? Can't imagine why.
So you figured it out.
You mean your little masquerade? Really now? Pretending to be a big golden tiki head with a robot assistant? A little derivative, don't you think?
Haven't you heard? Reboots are all the rage.
Still, copying Zordon? Copying me? Even your last body was just a recycled movie monster costume. Don't you have any original ideas?
Oh, please. You should know it's all in the execution.
One of my favorite words.
And yet you've never been able to finish the job. Even back then, when Astronema sent the entirety of the Machine Empire to my planet, which, yes, was a very painful experience, even after all that, I'm still standing.
We can change that.
Yes, to quote my former ward.
You have a front row seat to the end of your era. And the beginning of mine.
To be fair, she was only half right on that. I mean, technically this was the end of the Zordon era, but...
Talk. Let's get on with this.
I guess you're right. After all, that was only the cold open.
The episode continues with the United Alliance of Evil's full-on assault on the universe, with Mondo and Machina leading the fight against myself and the Blue Centurion, as Rita and Zed target the Gold Zeo Ranger of Triforia, each side backed up by a massive assortment of resurrected monsters, all while Zordon is forced to watch from Astronema's Dark Fortress, powerless to look away.
This is insane. How can there be so many of them?
We've got to do something. Database needs our help.
Not even the rebels of KO-35 are safe, as they are hunted down by relentless swarms of cogs and quadrifighters. Behind the battle lines, Taikwa ducks into a command tent to make a report to Commander Kinwan and Zane, the Silver Ranger.
You gotta get out there, I'll cover things here.
What about the communications relay?
K and C have it covered, but if DB doesn't get back up soon, it's all over.
Right. Are you sure you're good here?
Oh please, this is nothing. You should see my gaming rig back home. Now move, DB's got no time for us to argue.
Determined to help, Zane heads out to get aid from the other Space Rangers, but his Silver Cycle glider quickly runs afoul of a small squadron of Velocifighters, their laser fire causing him to lose his footing.
Now you'll know what it's like to lose. Hold him.
So, with the Silver Ranger in their crosshairs, the Velocifighters slowly advance.
After all this time, it's the end of the line, you Phantom Ranger.
Well, that was unexpected.
I mean, not quite in the same way as a shadow from above indicating the Astro Megaship's sudden appearance from below the Velocifighters in the middle of outer space, but still a welcome surprise.
And surprise can be everything.
The Rangers make quick work of 3 of the Velocifighters with their Mega Lasers, with Zane using his Super Silverizer to take out the last straggler.
You!
That's right.
And I still want my daughter back.
Aboard the Megaship, Zane explains the rebels' plight, but Andros and the others quickly point out that the scope of the situation is much larger than that.
Divatox has conquered Gratha.
Rita and Zed are attacking the Vika galaxy.
He's trying to conquer the whole universe.
A
I do believe it's time for you to remember who this world belongs to.
Well, that looks bad.
Maybe not as bad as 8,000 Velocifighters heading straight for Earth, but I could be wrong on that count.
All of your jokes and bravado, and you still don't understand what all of this is about.
Oh no, I get it.
Power Rangers is an Earth-centric franchise with a largely Earth-based team, so of course they're going to drop everything they're doing and go straight for the old blue marble.
Always thinking so small. As opposed to you, manipulating everyone you can from across the multiverse. Stripping away my identity, raising K's of yourself as your own, using Darkonda's spirit to take control of the war monsters, and using them as your proxies with alphabet soup, posing as Gosei to orchestrate the legendary battle, and using Ranger powers to rip apart the fabric of reality. Am I missing anything? Well, after launching that gaudy golden head through the rift and embedding it in a mountain, there was to communicate with Scorpius's insectoid forces after the building of Terraventure was averted, recommending that they join with that upstart Emperor Mavro to create the new War Star division of his armada, and suggesting that they target a backwater mining planet after I managed to manifest the first Ranger Keep prototype there.
You mean Andrasia?
Ah, yes. That was the name. I did try my best to make sure that they left a survivor. Just one. After all, I understand that vengeance can be a very powerful motivator.
Well, I can definitely relate to that. No, not again. Got to stay focused.
The attack on Earth is relentless, as citizens are stunned by the attacking Velocifighters, destroying buildings left and right as Piranhatron ride in on their motorcycles and Quantrons run in with their Q-blades. In outer space, the Astromech ship swoops in to face off against the Velocifighter squadron still orbiting the planet, but the Rangers soon find themselves under heavy fire.
What's going on out there?
We're picking up some major tachyon emissions.
It's the temporal storm!
How is that possible? I thought we left the storm behind ages ago.
Dark Spectre must have summoned it to our location.
Guess you better get out of here then. DB, do you read me?
A little busy.
Hold on to something if you can. I'm about to go full Star Fox.
Understood. Hope this works. Ruby Blast!
Phantom Laser!
The Rangers fire their mega lasers, clearing their path of a few Velocifighters.
Here we go.
Do a barrel roll!
Realizing that the ground assault is still ongoing, the other Rangers leave Zane in charge of the ship, morphing and taking their galaxy gliders down to the surface. Unfortunately, the Velocifighters follow, with one swooping under a bridge to knock out Andros' glider and send him flying into the army below.
I've had enough! I'll deal with you two later. I've got other business to attend to. Now, where was I?
Well, the Rangers were up against a massive army of Piranhatron and Quantrons, doing their best to hold their own and get the civilians to safety.
Oh, please. Nowhere is safe from me.
Andros frees another group of people, but soon finds that the Piranhatron and Quantrons are recovering quickly. So he activates his Spiral Saber booster mode to put them back down to the ground.
I'll put you in the ground!
I don't think so.
You think your old tricks will work on me, Phantom Ranger? Perhaps you don't remember, but we fought many times before, and I don't have any intention of losing now.
I remember you fighting against Ashley with a horde of soldiers to back you up, and then Andros activating his battleizer to fly in and knock you all out with a set of guided missiles.
Enough of this! You can't escape me that easily.
I do remember. I also recall Ecliptor shooting that foolish Red Ranger down out of the sky, and then the two of us blasting those Rangers straight out of Morph. Having a partner can make all the difference. Wouldn't you agree?
What was that? Kay?
It's the tachyon cloud! Dark Spectre has somehow used it to ensnare the ship!
But it's a cloud! How is that even possible?
Well, theoretically...
Forget I asked! How do we get free?
I don't know, but the ship is suffering from some serious structural damage. We may not have much longer.
No more running away.
Unlike those pitiful, powerless Rangers that you keep talking about.
Now, let's see about that ruby.
You know, when Zane feels overwhelmed by Velocifighters, he summons his Mega Winger for help.
Copy that. We're on our way.
No more interruptions. No more distractions. Nothing will stand between me and... you.
That vengeance can be a very powerful motivator.
Traitor!
No! We've taken heavy damage in Sector 4!
That's the infirmary!
Quick, go!
But what about...
We can't afford to lose anyone else! Go!
You should know by now. Those who don't learn from the past
Master?
are doomed to repeat it. At long last, the power of Dark Specter is mine!
No.
And as for you, you've cost me 2 lives in the past, Phantom Ranger. Let's see what we can do to even the score.
Yeah! I think I now know how that Quantron felt when the Mega Winger swatted its Velocifighter out of the sky.
But if I remember right,
the gazillion or so other Velocifighters were still enough to take down Zane's Megazord.
So don't underestimate the little guy.
Unfortunately, the rest of the Space Rangers are also being overwhelmed, as TJ, Cassie, and Carlos are forcibly demorphed by the Quantrons and Piranhatron and forced to retreat from the advancing armies, only managing to regroup after Dark Specter's forces have started rounding up the civilian population.
So, how's everyone else doing?
Well, we're still in one piece at least.
But not for long, Mistress Mayo.
I just have to...
Greetings, Creator.
No.
Go forth, my child.
Yes, Master.
No!
Aboard the Dark Fortress, Evil is taking a victory lap, as Astronema and Ecliptor inspect their latest weapon, the planet-busting super torpedo, with Darkonda watching from the shadows.
Please tell me that our ultimate weapon is ready to go.
Working on it!
No, I destroyed you.
And yet I keep coming back.
Recognizing that he's already lost 8 of his 9 lives, Darkonda decides that now is the time to act, hijacking the Velocifighter and the prototype super torpedoes.
Now here's what I don't get.
First, you were destroyed by the Mega Voyager after Ecliptor poisoned your super strength potion. Then Zane destroyed you on Centauri after discovering that you'd been manipulating the Korovian rebels disguised as Yatru. And then you were destroyed by stepping on your own landmine when trying to destroy Andros.
And honestly, you only have yourself to blame for that one.
Your 4th and 5th lives were taken by Ecliptor, first in retaliation for spying on Astronema, and then to protect Astronema when she allied herself with the Space Rangers on the planet Utoba. And then, after you converted Astronema into a cyborg and she kicked you off the Dark Fortress, we didn't see you again until your trickery on Forza, where Zane destroyed you again with his galactic rover.
So what I want to know is, what happened to your other 2 lives? Oh, that's what you were talking about with the... That was me. Okay, that makes sense now. What? Come on, guys, I'm not sure how long I can distract him for.
Yeah, well, we're pretty distracted ourselves.
Face it, you're nothing without your magic.
Oh, yeah? Well, you're nothing but the result of my stress-induced psionic influence on the cross-interaction between the tachyon cloud and the highly entropic plasmatic mass that exists within the cross-continuum void's extremely distorted variation of space-time! And I know exactly how to deal with you.
No!
Oh. Wow! That really does hurt, doesn't it? Ow. Okay. You good on your end?
After all this time, you still have no hope of defeating me. Your efforts are futile. Your resistance is meaningless. For I am Vengeance, the one, immortal. What are you doing? Stop this now. You can't. I am Vengeance. You can't just... No!
Virus deleted. I'm here, Mail.
Do you have to deal with a crazy flashback nemesis too?
Nothing I couldn't handle. Hopefully Guy and the Secretary are faring all right out in the storm itself.
Dude, the storm is crazy. You've got to pull up.
Mom, please. You know I hate it when you criticize my driving.
Ready when you are.
In that case, I need Megazord power. Now!
Zagzord, transform!
Initiating sequence.
Astronema and Ecliptor's playtime with their one-time-only custom-exclusive Ranger figures is interrupted by the arrival of the big man himself, Dark Specter, emerging from the void of space.
I'm done playing with you, you little gnat!
In that case, maybe you should pick on someone your own size.
As Dark Specter issues his commands with Astronema to finish off the Earth, he fails to notice the tiny Velocifighter creeping up behind him.
Oh, that reminds me of the shuttle. Guy, can you read me?
That was a lucky shot, little girls. You really think you have what it takes to tangle with me?
Let's find out.
Phantom Megazord Saber.
Nothing.
Guess I'm going in.
In an ironic twist of fate, the very weapon that was to be used to fulfill Dark Specter's commands is then fired off by Darkonda, striking the giant creature in the back and unleashing a cascade of explosions throughout his body.
I destroyed the Grand Monarch of all evil. I took his power for my own. Do you really think I'll be defeated by two little girls in a tin can?
Inside the Dark Fortress, Astronema has apparently returned to her planning room mid-conversation, but hurries back out to ask,
What's going on?
completely ignoring the fact that he really doesn't appear to be in any condition to answer. But I suppose that some stupid questions are expected when the boss you failed to take down yourself suddenly meets his fate at the hands of someone else.
Oh my. No. Get back. Please. Get back. Just get back. Alright. I can just. Excuse me. I'm sorry. It just. I'm very sorry about this. Oh. Sorry. Please don't fire me. Oh my.
As Dark Specter collapses out of the camera frame and out of mind, Darkonda swoops in for the Dark Fortress to eliminate the last of his competition.
You can't compete with me!
He's outmaneuvering us. Kay, any ideas?
Just one, but we're only gonna have one shot at it.
You mean?
It's still charged from before, but it's not calibrated to Darkonda's energy signature.
Can we help?
Suddenly, just as Darkonda is proclaiming his victory, Dark Specter rises up once more.
Any last words for the new Grand Monarch of Evil?
How about this?
Bye!
Dark Specter soaks up the second super torpedo and swallows the traitor whole, and the two go out in a massive explosion of graviton resonance.
Phantom Fire Saber Strike! Final attack!
That's impossible!
That's your last life.
The rocky remains of Dark Specter's body rain down on the city below, and Alpha 6 informs the baffled Rangers of the Grand Monarch's destruction, completely unaware that we've just witnessed the beginnings of the rift that will one day threaten the multiverse.
Mitch, Mary, are you okay? Look at me. Your eyes.
You. We're us again.
Unfortunately, there's not even a moment to celebrate this apparent victory, as the familiar face of a different foe appears in the sky.
No! The alphabet soup agents.
Ecliptor informs the collective armies of the United Alliance of Evil, all victorious in their conquests, that with Dark Specter's destruction, they will all bow down to their new supreme leader, Astronema. And as her visage appears above them, her new followers all indeed bow down in worship and prayer.
Come on, come on. Please be okay, please be okay.
The captured forces of good and the citizens of Earth are all at a loss, terrified over what may happen next.
Don't worry, the Power Rangers will be here and they'll save us.
Meanwhile, aboard the Dark Fortress, Astronema processes her promotion, only to be interrupted by Zordon, who urges her to stop things before it's too late.
Search your heart.
Search your feelings.
Silence!
You can't stop now.
Yes, Master.
You are not evil.
But her cybernetic programming remains too strong.
I'm not just evil. I'm the queen of evil.
And with that, Astronema moves in her forces to take Earth once and for all, as her dark fortress descends upon the terrified citizens below.
And that's the end of the episode. So, what did I think of it? Well, come on, Guy, you've got to be around here somewhere. Don't you want to hear about the episode? You were there for it, right? Remember? November 20th, 1998. The day this all started.
Countdown to Destruction is a finale that raises the stakes in ways that no other season ever had before, or has ever achieved since. And that's not just because the entire universe is at stake. It's because it takes advantage of the nearly 6 years of history that the show had built up, providing a context that gives every small character weight and importance. Myself, the Blue Centurion, Trey of Triforia, the Rangers of Aquitar, we had all come to Earth's aid in the past when we were able, and seeing us all overwhelmed and captured by old adversaries creates an overwhelming mix of nostalgia, sympathy, and concern, as it becomes increasingly clear that old allies are suffering and that no backup will be coming to save the day.
Because if you can't count on your old friends, who can you turn to, right?
Even the KO-35 rebels, Kinwan and Taikwa, who had only appeared once before, matter because of the emotional investment that's been built up across the course of the entire season. From KO-35's first mention in From Out of Nowhere Part 2, to the reveal of its abandonment in Never Stop Searching, to witnessing how Zane sacrificed himself to protect the inhabitants fleeing from Dark Specter's forces, and ultimately his choice to join the surviving rebels in Zane's destiny. We know how intimately Andros and Zane are connected to their home planet, which makes Andros' quick decision to rush to Earth's defense all the more subtly impactful. We see how much he has learned to value the home of his new family, and has learned to trust his own people to handle themselves.
After all, family isn't just about where you come from. It's about who you choose to have fight by your side. Isn't that right?
And that's part of why it hurts so much to see Earth under such a brutal attack. It's not just because Angel Grove has been the home of so many Power Rangers. It's because we've seen one Ranger in particular learn to love it as the home of his friends. And the fact that his sister is the one leading the charge against both the Korovian rebels and the people of Earth makes it just that much more painful to watch. After spending so much time searching for her, Andros is helpless to stop his own flesh and blood from laying waste to the home and family that he has worked so hard to find for himself.
And losing in that way, after already losing so much, it's almost too horrible to imagine.
And that's what makes Countdown to Destruction such a powerful episode. This is a team that has struggled so hard for so long, constantly being pushed to the edge of their limits, and now they're on the verge of losing everything. Their allies are defeated. Their arsenal is ineffective. They've lost 3 Megazords in just as many episodes. Old villains have bounced back stronger than ever. Zordon's life is nearly at its end.
But it's not over.
The villainous infighting and backbiting, played so much for laughs with the returns of Rita, Zed, and Divatox, suddenly have dire consequences for Dark Specter in the form of Darkonda's betrayal, an action that ironically leads to his own destruction. So it is that chaos, anger, and greed become their own worst enemies, and ultimately provide the Rangers with the tiniest sliver of the one thing they need most:
hope.
Overall, the first part of Countdown to Destruction may have the same little plot holes, editing errors, and occasionally stilted or awkward performances that have always plagued the franchise. but it absolutely excels at utilizing emotional investment in its universe and its characters to push the dramatic tension to its breaking point, setting its massive stage perfectly for the final confrontation. Of course,
Akio!
we're not done yet.
Now, let's continue.